What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you come into the channel. Check out the content. And with that being said, man, I wanna speak on the recent announcements that about Michael Jordan. Now, as you may know, Michael Jordan is he's coming back to NBC to to be like I guess a commentator and contribute to NBC as far as like talking about basketball and and stuff like that. And it has been announced that Michael Jordan will receive $40 million to come back and talk about basketball and give his take on basketball. Excuse me, and his talk about his professional uh opinions and stuff like that. And so some people are wondering, like, is it gonna be worth it for NBC to pay Michael $40 million? And and that's $40 million just for 1 year, right? And which I think is I think Mike is really he's definitely worth it, $40 million. Um Maybe even more because there's a lot of excitement and anticipation for Mike coming back, for this year to talk about basketball. Um, and for me, I'm just thinking that like Mike coming back to talk about basketball is also, I think, is a way for the NBA and the sponsors and everything to really to take this league in a new direction as far as you know, as far as like raising the standard and the level of play in the NBA. In my opinion, I think LeBron James has really like cheated the NBA. I think that Kevin Durant, in my opinion, I think he's cheated the NBA. I- I'm kind of not so much with Steph Curry. I know Steph Curry shoot a lot of 3 pointers and stuff like that. I think Steph Curry is probably has been really good for the game, in my opinion. I think Steph's been, but Kevin Durant and LeBron James, man, with this player empowerment, moving from team to team, and in some ways not really playing the game the right way. LeBron James flopping and um, also being LeBron James is like not good for his teammates, not good for his coaches and stuff like that. And I think a lot of that stuff is going to change when you have people who don't like LeBron James who don't play, at both ends of the court. He's not really all that good on defense. And you got somebody with my name like Michael Jordan coming back. And Michael Jordan is anything that LeBron James would try to do after his career, as far as like being an ambassador to the game, wouldn't really do the NBA any favors. I think that the NBA probably chose LeBron James coming out of high school to be like the face of the league. They called him the chosen one, King James and all this stuff. And the NBA really wanted to, they tried all these years to like market LeBron James and promote LeBron James. And for some reason, LeBron James, he didn't go about it the right way as far as like, he didn't just work. All he had to do was just work and put forth that effort on the court at both ends. And then I think the league would have been, it would have been better off. But because the league has, they had crowned LeBron James and he knew that he was the chosen one, he probably figured that he didn't have to put in that effort, because the decision has already been made. And so what LeBron did, in my opinion, was just, he just did the bare minimum and just let the league do the rest. And so when LeBron James did that, what happened was ratings went down, attendance went down, and you just had a whole bunch of dissatisfied basketball lovers and fans and stuff like that. And so even when you think about Los Angeles Laker fans, like I know a lot of Laker fans are talking about they can't wait for LeBron James to retire and leave the league, and leave the Lakers because really his 7 years at in Los Angeles really wasn't all that good. He didn't really meet the expectations of Lakers fans. And so now you have Michael Jordan coming back, which I think is good for basketball. It's good for the sponsors. Like sponsors don't want to kick out a whole lot of money. And when like when attendance is down and when the ratings is down, that really don't look good. And I think all of that, in my opinion, is a reflection of LeBron James just really just mailing it in, talking about it's only a game, uh, blaming teammates and stuff like that. That kind of culture, I think that kind of culture won't be promoted by Michael Jordan. And Michael Jordan really, in my opinion, he really don't have to personally or directly go at LeBron James. But when you have LeBron James talking up, like he's out there giving his talking points and his opinions like that, I think people will more so buy into what Mike is saying than they will LeBron James. And the reason being is I think the NBA with this new like group of young players coming in and all the excitement around these playoffs and stuff like this, and they're playing the exact same way or getting close to playing the same way that they used to play, back in the day. And so you got guys like I like this kid Shea Alexander, from he from OKC, Anthony Edwards, these kids just play hard, the way they used to back in the day. And then you got the Houston Rockets. Those kids play hard, both ways. So they up and coming. And then you got Cade Cunningham, who's playing in Detroit. So you starting to see, then you have Indiana, so you starting to see a whole different look in the NBA. Right. So I think that Michael Jordan will be good for bringing back, the older fans who was disappointed, like, being an ambassador for those guys. And then so the younger generation, I think Michael Jordan will be just like a bridge between the older generation and the younger generation. I think Michael Jordan has respect for today's players. And then so that's how they'll bridge that gap between today's players and and the older players, right? Just by the quality of play on the floor and the respect that these two different generations will have for each other. And I think this move right here by NBC I think will make Michael Jordan even more popular, right? Just like I said, when Michael Jordan documentary, The Last Dance, came out, during the shutdown, that was a lot of people watched that, and a lot of people who knew about Michael Jordan was excited to see that. And then people who didn't know about Michael Jordan learned, like what Michael Jordan's impact was, some of what his impact was when he was playing, in the league. So now I think it's going to be the same way with Mike, coming to NBC. And that's just like I said, this is just bad news for LeBron James and that player empowerment era that really didn't benefit LeBron. It didn't. If you ask me, LeBron James, I think he would have had a better career had he had the mentality of like Mike, Magic, Bird, Kobe. Just work hard on the court, and I think things would just take care of themselves. Like, and that's all you see right now with these young guys. They just working hard on the court. I watched OKC last night in Minnesota, and like worrying about your brand and all that other stuff that comes after you have the success and stuff on the court. You can't have a brand first and then basketball second. I think basketball comes first, and then your brand. Everything else will will take, just fall in place. And so, like I said, with these young guys coming in, and I think they'll more so emulate those old school guys than they will the guys who came from this era like Kevin Durant and LeBron James. And so, yeah, it's really going to be like Mike is just cleaning up the league. Um, and like I said, this is going to be good for Mike, the NBA. It's going to be good for sponsors like Nike and stuff like that. So, Mike is already popular with his shoes and his merchandise and stuff like that. And I think this stuff will probably, this merch and Nike will probably next year take another spike, man. It's just crazy. It's unprecedented for a guy to have this type of effect on a sport like that, man. So that's why I think Mike is definitely, in my opinion, he's definitely worth that $40 million. When guys like Michael Jordan and Tom Brady talk about their prospective sports, people want to hear. They definitely want to hear. I'm trying to think. Tom Brady, I think he got 37 million. And some people try to say that Tom Brady is not a good announcer. But in my opinion, all Tom Brady had to do is just be Tom Brady. And that's going to be the same thing for Mike. All Mike got to do is just be Mike, man. People just want to hear from these guys who perform at the highest level, at a level that even other NBA players or other professional athletes just look and just say, man, these guys are just phenomenal. And so, yeah, man, Mike coming back to NBC um, to really help save the NBA and also to just get rid of that old guard, man. That's in there. That current regime that's in there now. So that's my take on it. Make sure to like and subscribe. Also, don't forget to leave a comment, and I'll check you all out in the next episode. Peace.